Good evening and welcome to KiniNews. The state of Malacca is headed for snap polls. This was announced today after Malacca Governor Muhammad Rustam dissolved the State Assembly on the advice of Chief Minister Sulaiman Muhammad Ali.
The Malacca State Legislative Assembly has been dissolved to pave the way for a snap election. The decision by Malacca Governor Muhammad Rustam was announced by State Speaker Ab Rauf Yusoh at a press conference today. With the announcement, an election must now be held within 60 days. According to Rauf, the dissolution was on the advice of the outgoing Chief Minister. He said Sulaiman Muhammad Ali had informed the governor yesterday that 4 assembly persons had lost confidence in him as a Chief Minister, and at the same time advised the governor to dissolve the State Assembly. Rauf added that the state will be governed by a caretaker government until the election. Also present at the press conference today was a representative of the Election Commission who received the official notice on the State Assembly's dissolution. Malacca had been thrown into turmoil after 4 state lawmakers led by Sungai Udang Assemblyperson Idris Harun withdrew support for the BNPN government. In a press conference yesterday, the 4 had declared that they had lost confidence in Chief Minister Sulaiman Muhammad Ali. The Malacca Assembly has 28 seats, with 14 held by BN, 2 by Bersatu, 11 by Pakatan Harapan, and 1 independent assemblyperson.
Since the beginning of the political crisis over in Malacca, many people have voiced the concern that's on everyone's mind, the risk of spreading COVID-19 in the state if a snap election is called. It turns out the Prime Minister is well aware of this as he addressed the issue in Putrajaya earlier today.
Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob has assured the public that the Election Commission will come up with strict standard operating procedures if a state election is called in Malacca. He said this in response to messages from the public on his social media platforms, who were concerned about the possibility of a spike in COVID-19 cases in the country, like what happened after the Sabah election in September last year. Ismail, who is also Umno Vice President, added that he would leave it to the party president, Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, to find the best solution to the political issue in Malacca, as it also involves the party. Meanwhile, UMNO's Deputy President, Muhammad Hassan, has also commented on the issue. In a talk show broadcasted on UMNO's Facebook page yesterday, he said it is now in the hands of the governor as the Chief Minister no longer has the majority. He added that this was one of the reasons why an anti-party hopping law was needed.
Satu perkara yang unfortunate bagi negeri Melaka, tapi ialah orang tua-tua kata, ataupun kata orang putih, what goes around comes around. Okay? So kita kena belajarlah daripada ini. Itu sebab saya katakan tadi, akta ataupun enactment 4 parti ini perlu kita segerakan.
Just yesterday, UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said Malacca should undergo state elections again to return the mandate to the people. However, it seems like he's changed his tone a little today.
UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the government could postpone the snap elections in Malacca if they think it would be too dangerous to be held given the COVID-19 pandemic. In a press conference in Parliament today, he said they should consult with the National Security Council or NSC and the Health Ministry on the matter.
Masalah pandemik ini mengikut pandangan Kementerian Kesihatan dan Majlis Keselamatan Negara amat bahaya untuk diadakan pilihan raya negeri dalam tempoh 60 hari sebagaimana yang ditentukan dalam akta pilihan raya, maka tentulah panduan sebagaimana yang berlaku di negeri Sarawak mungkin boleh diikuti.
He added that the priority for the government should be on the people's health and the pandemic. On July 31st, a localized emergency was declared in Sarawak to enable the state to postpone its state election amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The Sarawak State Assembly's term had expired on June 7 and state polls were supposed to be held within 60 days. The localized emergency in Sarawak is set to expire on February 2nd next year, after which polls must be held. Zahid's press conference came after Malacca Governor Ali Rustam dissolved the State Legislative Assembly on the advice of Chief Minister Sulaiman Muhammad Ali. The dissolution was gazetted today and a snap election must be held within 60 days.
The DAP has also commented on the Malacca state elections, warning the government against making the same mistakes that they did with the Sabah state election last year.
DAP has stated their objection to holding snap elections in Malacca. In a statement today, DAP Central Executive Committee or CEC, Khoo Pui Tiong, said the CEC had a meeting yesterday to discuss the political development in Malacca and is against holding a state election. He said Malaysia is now recovering from the COVID-19 crisis and a statewide election may jeopardize the recovery efforts. He added that Malaysia must not repeat the same mistake as the Sabah state election last year, which led to new waves of infection and the loss of control over the pandemic. The statement came after Malacca Governor Ali Rustam dissolved the State Legislative Assembly on the advice of Chief Minister Sulaiman Ma'ali today. The Kota Malacca MP said, since the PN government in Malacca has collapsed, the incumbent Chief Minister Sulaiman Ma'ali should have tendered his resignation immediately as he no longer has the majority. According to him, Sulaiman was in no position to advise for the dissolution of the State Assembly. He said a new government should be formed in Malacca in accordance with the state constitution and the party, or coalition with the majority should be given the first opportunity and invitation to form the government.
After the break, Bersih has had enough of government-linked companies being used for political patronage. What does that mean? That and more after a word from our sponsor.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Welcome back. The Malacca political crisis is one of many crises the country has faced in the past few years, and UMNO's Deputy President Muhammad Hassan has an idea on what could be the problem.
UMNO Deputy President Muhammad Hassan has shared his views on the country's unending political crisis, which has resulted in Malaysia having 3 prime ministers in 3 years. In a talk show program broadcast on UMNO's Facebook page last night, he said that politicians are trading themselves as if they are political commodities, which has resulted in the situation we are facing right now. He said their actions have led to the country's political morale being weakened in terms of values and principles. Muhammad added that the action of political parties in opening the door for party-hopping politicians had made the situation worse. According to him, the effect of their action has caused the government to lose the political balance they had after independence, leading to the country entering a phase where there is no dominant party. He said this was very dangerous because the country won't be managed well and will not be governed peacefully.
Bersih wants the government to stop using GLCs as a tool to expand their political patronage or to entice selected representatives to switch allegiances in order to stay in power.
Electoral Reform Group Bersih has called on the government to end political appointments in government-linked companies or GLCs. In a statement last night, they expressed concern over the government's decision to appoint UMNO's Machang MP Ahmad Zahid Hamidi as the Velcro Berhad chairperson and Rompin MP Hassan Arifin as the Tenaga Nasional Berhad chairperson. They said members of parliament should instead focus on their role as lawmakers and perform oversight functions over the government of the day. This is as there will be direct conflict of interest between the role of running GLCs and the role to scrutinize the government's management of GLCs when they hold positions in them. Bersih also reminded Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob's government of past scandals involving key government-linked entities when they were led by politicians. They stressed that GLCs must not become a tool of the ruling parties to access rich resources for their political campaigns, to expand their political patronage, or to entice elected representatives to party hop in order to stay in power. With this, they called for GLCs to be headed by professionals with relevant experiences, proven track record, and personal integrity to ensure that they are well managed and the public interest is safeguarded. They also called for a new law to be adopted to make the appointment of chairperson and board members of GLCs to be based on merits, transparency, and accountability. Bersih added that a bipartisan Parliament Select Committee should be established to screen all appointments of chairperson and board members of GLCs.
Malaysia has summoned China's ambassador after a Beijing-owned vessel approached a Petronas-commissioned ship off the coast of Sabah.
The Foreign Ministry has summoned China's ambassador over the Republic's encroachment into Malaysia's Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ. In a statement last night, Wisma Putra said, "The presence and activities of these vessels are inconsistent with Malaysia's Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1984, as well as the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS." Wisma Putra also acknowledged the complexity of the issue with regard to the South China Sea, which Beijing claims in disregard of the EEZ. However, they said Malaysia's national interests will remain of paramount importance when it comes to resolving the matter. On September 26, Malaysia Kini had reported that Chinese vessels, including a survey vessel, were seen 138 km off the coast of Sabah, approaching a ship commissioned by Petronas. China has also maintained a near-constant presence at the Luconia Shoals, located within Malaysia's EEZ off the coast of Sarawak. Malaysia has repeatedly protested against China's continuous encroachment, but to no avail. At the same time, the government has also stated that they do not want to see an arms race in the South China Sea.
Racial slurs have no place in Malaysia. This was the message by National Unity Minister Halimah Muhammad Sadiq after an incident against a national shuttler.
National Unity Minister Halimah Muhammad Sadiq has slammed the use of a racial slur against national shuttler as Kisona. Speaking in Parliament today, Halimah said that it was unacceptable and such slurs have no place in the country.
Saya pun baca Yang Berhormat dan saya pada saya komen yang berunsur perkauman ke atas pemain badminton perseorangan negara Kesova ini baru-baru ini sepatutnya dan tidak boleh diterima dalam budaya Malaysia yang berbagai bangsa dan juga agama.
She added that this is especially true in sports which unites Malaysians regardless of race, ethnicity or religion. She also advised the public, especially social media users, to avoid using words that could hurt the feelings of others from Keluarga Malaysia. Previously, it was reported that former Pasir Putih Bersatu Vice Chief Borhanuddin Che Rahim had used a racial slur against Kisona and questioned where the Badminton Association of Malaysia recruited her from. Kisona had represented Malaysia in the Sudirman Cup 2021 tournament in Vantaa, Finland, and made it to the semi-finals where she was defeated by Indonesia's Gregoria Mariska Tunjung.
That's a wrap for Kini News this evening. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on our social media, on YouTube and Twitter, and if they don't disappear again overnight, Facebook and Instagram to get the latest news headlines. If you'd like to support the independent media, do consider a subscription to MalaysiaKini.com. When you're heading out, please don't forget your mask, and when you can, do try to stay home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, Malaysia.